Welcome one and all, and we're in for a real treat at this classic circuit here today. The crowd are ready to go, the cars are ready to go, and we're just about set for lights out. Welcome to the Italian Grand Prix. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Davidson, tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
Well, the throttle goes both ways, Crofty. You've got to have the discipline not to try and win the race on the first lap. So always be prepared to lift early and give those around you more space. Trying to be the last of the late breakers with half a dozen cars around you may pay off from time to time, but it's also a great way to lose your front wing.
saturated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it in a sense, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Welcome one and all, and we're in for a real treat at this classic circuit here today. The crowd are ready to go, the cars are ready to go, and we're just about set for lights out. Welcome to the Italian Grand Prix. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Davidson, tell me, Amith, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
Well, the throttle goes both ways, Crofty. You've got to have the discipline not to try and win the race on the first lap, so always be prepared to lift early and give those around you more space. Trying to be the last of the late breakers with half a dozen cars around you may pay off from time to time, but it's also a great way to lose your front wing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting Saturday evening where UltimateE presents the Battle of the Stars. We're on the PC this time out with the F1 2020 game, and we're here at Monza. This is an association with Red Bull, one of our wonderful sponsors come on board this weekend as well, and there is a prize, and of course there's $5,000 to be won. Hashtag gives you wings. We are here today for the first of 2 races in this championship series this weekend. We will be at Saucy tomorrow. But here we are at Monza, the Temple of Speed, one of the most historic tracks on the F1 calendar. There's a red mist in the air, and that means only one thing. Legends of this life and limb, all to the adoration of the Tifosi. This 5-kilometer track blasts through the parabolic up in the 20s to the modern day retifolio. All this while the drivers are at full throttle for 70% of the lap. We have a host of characters, and I'm joined today by my very good friend Sohil Shah. So, welcome on board. It's great to have you back this weekend.
Yeah, it was good to be back as well. And how are you doing?
All is well, Sohil. I'm excited today because we're here at one of my favorite tracks, and with a slightly different format that we're running this weekend, where we're going to be doing a short qualifying for about 18 minutes. Once this qualifying is done, we will go into a 25% race, which is about 16 laps, 17 laps of this circuit. And that will then be, and then the points will be added as F1 is scored. And of course, there is also a point for the fastest lap for the person who finishes in the top 10. We're going to have reduced damage. Manual starts rather hard in this game, so it's going to be challenging to see who can get their car off the line first. Oh, this Monza circuit, my favorite circuit, as I said earlier. Iconic, absolutely steeped in history, and as I said before, there was a red mist in the air, and as we go through that long, fast start-finish straight, through the Variante del Retifolio, then the Curva Grande, the Variante del Roggio, the double Lesmos, into the Ascari chicane, and down the infamous Parabolica, while we blast through the start-finish straight again. So this track, absolutely stunning, and now these guys are doing a little wet session in quality.
Yeah, definitely. The track is very good, fun to drive in the dry, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be better in the wet as well. Hopefully, it stays like this for the start of the race, so we get some more action than expected, and it should be a really fun race to watch then.
Absolutely, because if it stays like this, like Sohail said, with that little bit of induced damage, there's going to be a lot of slipping and sliding. You can see the guys are all on experience right now, so definitely not dry enough for slicks at the moment. But with 14 minutes to go, I'm going to introduce you to the cast of characters we have racing with us today on this PC version of the F1 2020 game here at Monza. This is UltimateE's Back to the Stars in association with Red Bull. Hashtag gives you wins. From Mercedes, we have TANISH and Mayank, the Lightning Pahadi. From Red Bull, we have Amith, an absolute demon. We know how quick he is around here, being an UltimateE racing driver as well, along with Parikshit today. From Ferrari, we have the Iceman, aptly named, it deserves that Ferrari seat, and Brahim Juneja, the Thunderbird. McLaren, we have Yashish Manohar, who showed us some classic racing last time out in the iRacing series last weekend, finishing on the podium. Brilliant to have him back here on this F1 2020 game. He's joined by Piyush Gandhi as his teammate in McLaren. For Racing Point, we have Nandan and Supreme Leader Ashwin. We know he's really quick, Ashwin, and we can see what he can do because his teammate can come into play and they can work as a pair to get them up there as well. Renault, we have KTV, Krishana Dakubuyan, the Tier 2 driver who's now made his way with the big boy leagues, now racing with the Tier 1 boys. Let's see what he can do. And of course, while we see he's also put up the second pass, the second quickest lap as well. So great to have KTV back on board with us. And he's joined by Harshit Reddy, Harry Rocks in the Renault. With AlphaTauri, we have Rajdeep Paul and adheetparashar. For Alfa Romeo, we have Mahaveer Raghunathan. Welcome on board. It's great to have him back. Former Formula 2 driver for MP Motorsport. It'd be super to see what he can do here. He's rather quick around here, knows his way around the circuit in real life as well. He's joined by Ashwin in the Alfa Romeo. For Williams, we have Red Devil and Big Banjo Daniel. For Haas, we have Vignesh, Fix 365, and UK Utkarsh Kumar beating us in and out over various weekends. Great to see him back here as well. But so these guys, they're going to give us an absolute run for our money, and it's going to give us all our money's worth as well. What?
Yep, like always, we have a lot of familiar names. Like you mentioned earlier, a few of them: KDB, Amith, we have Yashish Manohar as well from Iris Nafi. Not to forget, we have Mahaveer Raghunathan also joining us this weekend. So we have a lot of familiar names, a lot of fast guys here, and yeah, it should be really interesting race here coming up. Really talented for any of the drivers.
Absolutely, because as we see that, as we go through, we're riding on board right now, that's SMM Iceman, who's there in the Ferrari, as he's aptly called, with a 128.7, but he's still 1 second away, 1.2 seconds away from Amith on this intermediate race. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, it is wet, and it's getting wetter. You can see the clouds getting darker, the rain is getting heavier. So I think these lap times they're putting in now will be the banker laps they have to do for the beginning, because if it gets any better, so it's going to be very hard to get these kind of lap times on the car again.
Yeah, and it is going to be a lot more fun for us to watch.
Absolutely, and you've driven this game, you've played this game a couple of times, and look, the manual starts. Not really easy, is it?
No, it's hard enough with the dry, and they had to start up in wetter conditions, let alone the conditions right now. It's just going to be really hard, and the moment they get the smallest amount of holes there, I think it's game over for them from then.
Absolutely, because like you've called it, so there's a tiny bit of oversteer, and like we've seen time and time again, chaos in that first corner. But this time on at Monza, where the corner tightens into that unbelievably tight chicane where you're braking from close to 300 kilometers an hour down to about 100, we're only going to expect a little bit of chaos there, so.
Yeah, and not to mention that corner is very tight for one car to go through, let alone two. So, yeah, it's just going to be carnage, hopefully, the curve one.
I was just saying that while the rain's getting a little heavier, Amith goes and sets another fastest lap out there with a 127. It's great to see Amith. The last couple of weekends we saw him in the iRacing series. Not a very great showing from him down there, because he got bombed in the back and made a whole bunch of mistakes. But it looks like he's got his act together. No, we can see that Force India behind us. As KD, if you follow KDB through the Force India behind, I think we possibly also a racing point rather. I think of Nandandivy behind having a little screen walls, but of course with damage on so a little bit of front wing can compromise your entire lap.
Yeah,
loss of a little bit of front wing can compromise your entire lap on the circuit.
Definitely. I mean, even though it's a straight dominated track, it still has a lot of high speed corners, and that's where the downforce will come into play. And if it is a wet session, then that's just the bigger the loss. The more wetter, the bigger the loss, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're going to lose so much more downforce. It's like tricky and especially high and hard while they run very low downforces to the maximum speeds and top speeds they can get on the circuit. There are two parts of the circuit that you really need to get on board with the soul. But on board, Yashish Manohar, take us to the snap.
Yep, definitely. As we head over to turn 1, I think he's braking just before 100, very late locks up as well, using as much curve on the right and the left hand side to maximize the width of the track on the exit as well. And as we head back towards turn 3, towards second chicane, turn 4 and 5, we'll be putting as minimum steering input as possible, trying to get maximum straight line speed. Again, braking just before 100, using maximum curve on the left and the right, making sure very easy to get over on the exit, so making sure not doing that, and then braking at the limit for the first Lesmo, heading towards the second Lesmo. A bit of traffic here for him, and braking at 50. I think he must have been a bit held up, but again, using all the width on the exit to maximize the straight line speed possible. Especially in these wet conditions, very easy to lose the car on the exit, making sure not to be doing that as well. Coming towards the Ascal chicane, again, a very, very tricky corner on this track, and one of my favorites on this track. Love to flow through that, but again, using maximum width of the track, but I think Yashish has just backed off on that lap after being held up, bringing the temperatures back down to start a fresh lap. But as we head towards the last corner, which is Parabolica, again, very, very nice high-speed corner, really fun to drive around, and maximum width again to maximize it.
I think he's got to go again. Unfortunately, got held up there by adheetparashar and Audi. Not great showing for him at point in time, but I'm sure Yashish Manohar down in third place now has about 2 seconds to make up to Amith putting up in first place. It's going to be a huge task for him to do, but I'm sure he can make up for it because we know he's rather quick, and we saw what he could do last time out with the big boys at iRacing. But 7 minutes now to go with qualifying. So with Amith, he looks like he's in a class of his own right now as you follow him around this track.
Yeah, he's always been really quick in gaming pirouetted, so not really much of a surprise at this point of time, but yeah, he's just absolutely got in another level compared to the rest of the team right now.
That's great to see because he's got his mojo back, and it's great to see Amith putting his mojo back now in the Red Bull. He's got connection as his teammate as well. So connection, he's got we know he's got a lot of speed, but the way these guys are being teamed up is the quickest and is pretty much the first and the last, second and second last, and so on and so forth. So you've got one quick driver and one not so quick driver. These teams and teammates can actually work together so to make things work for them during this.
Yeah, they can, but in a 25% race, that'll only come into play with getting a lap, which is again not an easy task to do even for the faster drivers in this game. And so if they manage to get to the back markers, then that's when that play will come, unless the two drivers are actually close together. But as I said, that Yashish Manohar has put in a strong play of the lap. He's gone into
Absolutely, because it looks like, with 5 minutes in, if you look at these guys, most of them have only done 1 or 2 laps. They haven't really had too much time out on these tracks. Of course, they had an hour of practice before, but it was even dry. And this time when the wet, looks like these guys are struggling quite a bit to find the grip levels of this car, especially into braking into the corners, into the fast corners of the Lesmos. Because we saw a lot of cars go off in the barriers with damage on, like we mentioned earlier. That front wing compromises you massively, so we're probably heading back to the pits to get things sorted. But as we say that, we're on board now with Nandandivy in the racing point. His teammate as well, right behind him in 16th place, both on their outlaps. He's on his flying lap, his teammate on his outlap. But good to see these guys now if they can make something down here, because they do have 5 minutes left. There's not a lot of time left, and they've got a lot of time now to find 4 seconds almost to Amith cooking first place.
Yeah, but I think they will have, if they come out of the pits now, they'll have about a lap or 2. But the good thing is that these intermediates don't die that quickly or don't wear off that quickly as slicks, so they can have multiple laps instead of that. So they might even get a chance of getting more than 2 laps and probably get more traction.
Absolutely, and then as you were saying that we're riding on board there with Mahaveer Raghunathan down in 13th place now with a 139, so he is well off the pace here again in the Mercedes, unfortunately for Mahaveer. But Mahaveer, as we said earlier, you know, he's always been around town, he's always been there with us. I mean, he's always been someone to watch out for. And that being said, we've got to keep an eye on Mahaveer Raghunathan. Never count him out, but he's about 3 seconds down now from Amith quickly. But if you look at the gap there between 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, it's very, very close and extremely tight. The second coupling of those 5 guys.
Yeah, there's massive gap from P1 to P19 now. Unfortunately, we don't have a lap time for P20. But but as you were saying that, Amith has put a faster lap time than a 27.5, improving by about 3/10 over there. So there's nobody stopping him right now.
Absolutely, and there's definitely no one stopping him. Yashish Manohar there in second place with 128 pause. It was a good second still off Amith Pudi's pace, 1.1 seconds to be precise of Amith Pudi's pace. But SMM Iceman and the Ferrari, great showing there by him with a 128.7. But between those guys, the 128.4, 7s, 9s, second, third, and fourth, extremely close between Yashish, Iceman, and TANISH Agarwal. While all these guys now are probably going to put on a fresh set of these intermediate tires and see if they can blast out one again. We're in the 9 moments of qualifying now with 3 minutes left. If you're just joining us, this is UltimateE's Back with the Stars on the PC with the F1 2020 game where you're racing at Monza, and this is in association with Red Bull. And here's a word from our sponsors, #YouuKayy. There we go. Thank you, Red Bull, for supporting us through this weekend. Of course, all these guys, there is prize money to be won, and there is different ways for you to enter this competition. And so, you've been one of the guys who keeps entering week in and week out with the iRacing series and the PC Racing series. Tell the audience what it takes to enter these games and play amongst the big pros.
So it's not much really, you know, all you need is one of the consoles, either PS4 or a PC, and you need to have some games such as the Gran Turismo and the F1 for the PS4 and iRacing, R-Factor 2, etc. Corsa, F1 as well, some games that we run, and then all you have to do is just register when we have these races, and you will always find the registration links on our Instagram on @UltimateE official. So once you do that, just DM them, and they will guide you through the whole process step by step, and that's pretty much it. And then the next thing, all you need is a steering wheel and a pedal set for the PC, and for the PS4 you can just simply use the regular PS4 controller.
Absolutely, like you said it, so couldn't be more clear cut. Because guys, if you want to follow us, we're at UltimateE on Instagram, and of course DM us there. We send you all the details if you want to participate in this fantastic little racing series that we have. Doing this all through the lockdown and now through Unlock as well. And it's great having everyone here watching with us. Thank you for joining us. But with 1 minute left in the qualifying now, Amith in a league of his own with a 127.5. No one able to come close to him in the wets. It's a rather impressive time for him. But there we go. But that being said, behind him, there are a whole host of characters who are rather close to each other. Yashish Manohar in second. Rajdeep Paul now making it up in the third place. The AlphaTauri, great to see him up there, because I was wondering where Rajdeep Paul was. We know he's rather quick, but with 128.6, 2/10 now off Yashish Manohar. TANISH Agarwal out of nowhere now in the Mercedes is putting a 128.1, the closest we've seen. So he's closed that gap by about half a second between now and Piyush, but still has about 6/10 in it to catch up with. But Yashish Manohar then drops on to third place. Rajdeep Paul now up in the fourth. So all these guys now on their final flyers at the moment with 10 seconds rather to go in qualifying. KDB, great showing by him in sixth place, 128.1 to 129.2 with the 129.2. So KDB can do a lot from up there. And the mid-pack gets rather busy. Piyush Gandhi in seventh place. And then in 8th place as well. 9th place we have Utkash, who's 9th place we've got Utkash, who's sitting out there with a 129.5. The big man Joe Daniel down in 10th place. Thunderbird Thunderbird, who's built to Juneja, is down in 11th place as well. Adheetparashar, who is stepping in as a reserve driver. Great showing by him up in 12th place with with Harsham Reddy, Harry Rocks in 13th place. Supreme Leader Ashwin in 14th place. We're missing a lot more from Supreme Leader because he's been rather quick and active around this gaming session, but I want to see what he can do from the back of the grid. Let's see what he can do from up there. As we're seeing him, he dropped out of 16th, unfortunately. Mahaveer, surprising to see him down in 17th place. 139, just not able to get up to the pace with the guys on top. 3.5 seconds behind the guys on top. But if it's drive doing one, if it's going to be drive doing the race, Mahaveer is mighty quick on this track. He can get himself up there. And just as I was saying, guys, putting his final lap, which he's gone up in the 12th place as well. From down in the 17th was dropped. That's dropped. Ashwin now down in the 17th place. 18th place is Vix 365, is Vignesh down there in the Haas. And Parikshit in 19th place with Nandan Racing Point in 20th place, running up the top 20. So it's good. I think as long as these guys are slowly coming across the line and finishing up, and it looks like Amith looks like he's set the benchmark with a 127.5. No one able to catch him at this moment in time. But TANISH there in second place, stunning lap to put him up in second place. Looks like he's done that time, but as we say, we'll see what YouuKayy can do as he comes across the line. Now in 9th place, but stays 9th place. And big man Joe Daniel looks like he's going to stay 10. Mahaveer on the last flyover, going around the track with him as he comes down the last sector of this track, blasting towards that parabolic car. And if he can improve his time from that 12th place on the track in the wets on these intermediate tires, we know he's rather quick and mighty good around here and has absolute real experience compared to any of these guys driving this game at the moment. See how twitchy the car is, how slippery that circuit is. As Mahaveer now gets across the line, is he able to improve his time? No, he does not. He stays down in 12th place for 130. So 3.5 seconds still off the lead of Amith. He's got a lot of work to do from 12th place down there. Harry Rocks Harshal down in 14th place. He hasn't improved either at the light peak Pahadi. I wonder if he's going to improve his tire. Mayan down in 16th place in the Alfa Romeo, unfortunately. So there has been a little bit of ups, a little bit of up and down during this last couple of minutes, seconds of qualifying, but with 10 seconds left, these guys looks like they're putting their laps. But Rajdeep Paul looks like he's doing it for another flyer. Sector 2 looks like he's down just a little bit of time in sector 2 compared to guys on top. He might not improve a little bit. He hasn't put in a personal best yet on this lap, but let's just see Rajdeep Paul now as he comes down the last sector. As he comes down the second last sector, I think he's backed up completely. He made a big mistake. I don't think he's going to improve on that lap. We're going to pick up a toe from Mahaveer, who's in the top ahead of him, but no, I don't think Rajdeep is going to improve on that lap. There's 1 second left now to qualify to go. I think this is how they're going to say, well, Amith could be there. Sohail, he's on pole position. TANISH in second and Yashish Manohar in third place at the moment.
Yeah, really good showing from these drivers up in the top 3 there. Not too far behind for 4th and 5th as well. The length separating them, so we should be up for a really good race to see.
Absolutely, like you've called it, the Momo's got some great racing here, and what's going to make it fun is if it's a dry race, it's going to be super unpredictable because these guys have practice in the dry, yes, but they haven't really got race conditions in the dry, and the tires here are going to be critical to manage those high temperatures, especially those left-hand compounds, because there's so many fast right-hand corners all across the track zone.
Yeah. There are so many corners over here that are just right-handed. Like I think there are 1, 2, just 2 or 3, 4 corners in total that are left-handers, and the rest all are right-handers.
There's 7 right-hand corners and 4 left-hand corners. Exactly what this track is made up of. Yep.
Yeah.
But that being said, so with pit stops, then these guys really have to time it right, because this track you do have the opportunity to undercut or overcut if that has to be the case.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for overtaking. Other than that as well, I mean, you have turn 1, turn 3. We have the Ascari chicane, so parabolic as well. So it's pretty much overtaking arena.
Yep, and it looks like we're going to have a wet race now because the rain has not relented over the weekend as we come into race day today. But with this said, 25% now. We're waiting for these guys to ready up. We're a couple of seconds away from racing. And that being said, Sohail, wet race, stop strategy really doesn't matter now if the inters are going to last them all the way through. But if it's a drying track, then that's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a challenging weather for every driver there, and it's going to make for a more interesting race for us to watch as these guys come up with their own strategies to go back onto the dries if required.
Well, there's one thing I can assure you for a fact in this wet race is chaos in turn number 1. So as we get down and if Amith quickly manages to launch himself off that line, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, 13 laps now with a 5-line squad. We will go racing here at Monza and Amith battling the stars, F1 2020 PC, and there we go with Amith not getting a very good start. TANISH not only making up a place off the starting grid. Amith looks like he's going to get dropped back a little bit because he's getting bogged down and the back. I think Rajdeep Paul made up a lot of place up there as well, but in the first corner, you can see a whole bunch of players for getting the ball right now as they go through. But TANISH now up in front, half second now already on Rajdeep Paul with Ashwin in third place. Yashish Manohar making up another place on Amith dropping from 4 now down to 5th place with SMO Iceman in 6th place again. KDB 7th place, he's sure looks like he's in position, but Amith coming on that first corner, looks like he's the biggest loser one. So you can see he's bogged down the start completely. But with the Ashwin there in third place, making up a whole bunch of places in the Alfa Romeo. Great to see that start for him. But on board now, Rajdeep Paul trying to settle down, get his target set up, TANISH all up ahead, and see if he can get into the slipstream of glass. But this wet track not making it easy for Amith at all, losing 4 places on the start. And a whole bunch of players down the field. We see Nandan making up in the racing point, making up 4 places as well. Parikshit in 16th place, making up 4 places as well. But adheetparashar and Pahadi in the Alfa Romeo dropping down 4 places as well. So a huge amount of activity going now up and down the field as we enter the double S4s now. As we enter the double S4s. As the former Yashish Manohar around, he's getting hustled now by Amith makes a little bit of a mistake there again. Something's not right with him today, unfortunately. Dropping down the order like a stone. With SML Einstein in the Ferrari now, making up another place, so he's got to get the grip to this game and himself now. Just read back that Kumorizora ball, it breaks really deep in there, and now you can see he's pushing Iceman along. Let's see if he can make a bunch of races back up because he's got to settle down. He's still got around 11 laps left of this race with a pit stop as well, which is all to play for at the moment, so.
Yeah, Amith just from the start, he's getting a little bit of wheel spin, losing all that pace, and now he's just struggling a bit in the wet. But as we've seen so far, he has been really quick earlier, but like in qualifying, he was the same condition, similar condition. But he just seems to be struggling a bit right now. But again, it's a fairly long race. We have another 12 laps, so I think he'll be one to watch out for comebacks as he just makes a move for P5 on the Iceman right there, and they might go Sebastian against TANISH again, which is definitely a good corner as the McLaren Alfa Romeo also trying to do the same up ahead, but the Ferrari just squeezing Amith on the right hand side, and Amith not being able to make that move on Ferrari. Again, he has multiple options coming up next corner.
Well, he's got to. While you're saying that, you've got KDB who's now caught up to him as well. So Amith, it looks like KDB, if he gets in that slipstream again, he's going to be disaster for Amith if he drops another place now on lap number 3. Because in 3 laps, if he's dropped from 1st to 7th, that won't be very good. But there we see a beautiful view of KDB's on board with Amith and Yashish Manohar backing it out. As well for 2nd and 3rd, but it looks like Iceman and Yashish Manohar now into the first corner. Both of them. Is he going to get out of the Ferrari? Big block off, a big huge snap off, saves it there. But blocks in S3 and he's up in the 4th place as well with Ashwin in 3rd place. But Amith is still down in 5th place. He looks like he's going to come out on top of this because he's now getting hustled by Yashish Manohar in the McLaren field. Yashish Manohar in the F1. I want to be moving so he was coming around me. Wondering he's going to make that move. Sticking, he does make that eye. Does not make. There's a big crash behind him between KDB and Utkarsh. KDB is going to lose huge amounts of places. That there we go, KDB completely losing it there. Big crash there, which means Mahaveer and another there. All by a blow, so Win the Mercy is going to profit from this, make up a couple of places. Harshit Reddy also going off track in the Renault. Both the Renaults having a disastrous showing, unfortunately, at this point in time. But there we go, Amith now. This looks like it's going to settle down a bit because that confusion and lots of that huge confusion has given Amith a 2-second buffer over Yashish Manohar, who was on his tail not less than 3 corners ago. But Amith Kuti now with SMMI on the tail of SMM Iceman. 3 tenths between the two of them and up ahead. Less than a second as well to Ashwin in third place. But up in front, Tanish looks like he's controlling the pace really, really well. Putting 2.5 seconds already on Rajdeep Paul with 4 laps into this race. And on board now with Amith Kuti. Looks like he's gaining, but just not enough to get in touch with SMM Iceman. Oh, and he's touched SMM Iceman there. And then SMM Iceman goes a little wide, a little bit of a rock that's really cheap to the road, but that's it. That's fair play and fair racing as well. Good sportsmanship between these two. Back in Red Bull and the Ferrari now. Amith Kuti around the outside. Is he going to make the move? It's going to convert the inside down at Tifolio. With them, John Curlin on the Tifolio chicane does not make that move stick, unfortunately, down there. But what a brilliant battle between these guys. And Amith Kuti now looks like he's gained a little place as well. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There are a whole bunch of characters. You can see a lot of penalties being handed out as well. So right now, so we can keep track of those because it looks like the Red Devil had a 3-second penalty, but he's now down. He's now down in he's Red Devil in fact. Find him, we will find him eventually, but right now Amith Kuti is still on the tail of SMM Iceman, but up and down the order, lots of battles going on because Ashwin now making gains on Rajdeep Paul in second place.
Yeah, Rajdeep Paul is doing a job to pick it up with the pace that he wants, and he is doing really well. And coming back to the Iceman and Amith Kuti fight, Amith Kuti is definitely been putting, you can actually see that he's got a lot of the pace because he did cover up 2 seconds to the Iceman in 3 corners actually. And yeah, unfortunate for KDB to be involved in that incident. But as safety guys now, it should give drivers like Amith Kuti a good chance to come back again to this race.
Well, if you're opportunistic enough, this is where you could get your pit stop out of the way with that mandatory pit stop in this 25% race. So the guys in the back can actually pit right now if they had the chance. The guys coming around the last corner, especially the guys down with like Pahadi, KDB, they've all got in the pits. There we go, like we called it. They are now pitting. They've got pit stops as well. So this is going to bridge the gap up quite a bit and going to give them 2 spots advantage. But I wonder why the safety car came out. I wonder if our broadcast can get a replay, let us know. Someone's made a big mistake and gone to Super Meter Ashwin, who is right up there in second place or third place. Second place actually has dropped down and was dropped off our strength and dropped out of the game. So he's definitely made that mistake, and he's the reason probably when safety cars come out, having that massive crash will probably be not become over. But that being said, safety car being deployed, lap number 5, and this ultimately is back in this in association with Red Bull. Hashtag gives you links, and here's a word from our sponsors. Alright, thank you Red Bull for sponsoring us. Great to have you guys on board. And it looks like TANISH Agarwal, all that hard work he had done, he had those wings on his shoulders and flew away from the beginning of the race. He's going to now come under a huge amount of pressure from Ashwin in second place, Rajdeep Paul in third place, Iceman in fourth place. Amith Kuti was looking super racy over the last 5 laps. He dropped down from pole position now in third place. Yashish Manohar, the Red Devil, Piyush Gandhi, and then Utkarsh in 9th place. Big Man Joe Daniel in 10th place. Mahaveer made up a couple now up into 11th place. So we're going to see if he can do something out of that from 11th place now that he's got the back to 50 bunched up. But that being said, it always depends on where TANISH Agarwal lets this back go, and if he gets that great little exit off the parabolica, no one's going to be able to catch him. So
yeah, the race is not going to be a big factor to how some of these drivers managed to make up places again, like you mentioned just now. And TANISH Agarwal had almost 4-second lead, so that's come down to practically 0. So it's going to be very important for him to make that start count and build up that gap again. And plus, I don't think, because they are on intermediates running safety car, I don't think there's going to be any pit stops involved in this. So I think these guys will be fighting for their final positions in this race. So Some guys might need to make a move on if they want to come back, and KDB got involved in incidents early on in the race. Did get a good chance to make a pit stop and make a comeback into this race, so and keeping an eye on them as well. So yeah, I believe the safety car should be coming in at the end of this lap, I assume. But yeah, as you can see, safety cars in this lap. So TANISH should be getting ready for his start, and let's see how this turns out.
Yeah, let's see how this turns out. But the safety car slightly be called in this lap. You can see him bouncing up the pack again now. As we go down. And as we're doing this, we can see a lot of people receiving penalties. So I'm guessing they're all going each other up down the field, because 5-second penalties now is going to change a lot. Because apart from TANISH, I haven't seen, apart from his name pop up, I've seen so many of these names up in the top 5 that have popped up for causing collisions, for exceeding track limits, and there we go. TANISH now leads in the pit lane. Who was that diving into the pit lane? Was that Red Devil who dived in the pit lane? Unfortunately did, but TANISH now leads him across the line again. One line the safety car has been pulled back in, but TANISH now in the first corner. He's going to make this trick. He is going to make it quick and gets it across the first corner with absolutely no problems at all. But behind him now, Rajdeep Paul, Iceman, Amith could make up 2 places already in the first corner. Brilliant to see him back. He's super racing again. Red Devil dropped back in the third place, who's made up a whole bunch of places as well. 6 places now during the race. Great to see him. Yashish Manohar dropping a couple of places as well. But TANISH now in control of this race. And then we are on board. Amith could be second on second. We have a yellow flag. So it looks like, I think Ashwin there dropped back down from third place all the way down the order again. So big mistakes up and down the field. I wonder who's pushed too off. But if we get a couple of more, full shots of the track, we know exactly what's going on behind. But with the top 3 at the moment, TANISH, Rajdeep Paul, Iceman, with Amith could be hot on that tail. This is going to be an exciting 5-lap sprint towards the end of this race. Now TANISH only pulling out a 1.2 second lead. Oh, is that the Red Devil is made a mistake down there as well? It looks like Yashish Manohar, the McLarens now, the teammates fighting with each other. This is no quarter, no mercy given between the two of them. Absolutely nothing in it between the two McLaren boys. But Amith Pucci now looks like he's going to make up a couple of places if he can hold on to his pack, because he was 1 second earlier, and with them looks like UltimateE now in the half, joining the party with the McLaren boys. UltimateE and Big Man Joe Daniel, into Williams, both down battle now down the South Pole straight as we blast past the South Pole straight into the very out of the corner. 3 wide now. 2 McLarens and a half. The Williams waiting in the wings to pick up the scraps. It's not going to happen this time out. But Piyush Gandhi looks like he's getting on that little bit of a place. Oh, and the thing is that an opportunistic move by UltimateE around the outside. Brilliantly done. Making up 2 places up in the 4th place. Mahaveer as well made up 2 places there. And he's going wheel to wheel now with KDB. And he's got Archie ready. Harry rocks in his sights as well. This is a great drive by Mahaveer, making up 2 places before we get a turn 1. Excellently done by the man in the Mercedes at the moment. Now 2.4 seconds up the road is Daniel in 6th place, but he's got to pen these guys up. Looks like Mahaveer's found his rhythm and his motor and is fighting back now and showing us what he's got, because he's a master in these wet weather conditions. But UltimateE now on Piyush Gandhi, 4th and 5th, battling with each other. Nothing in it between the two of them as well. And no DRS, ladies and gentlemen, because the track is wet, of course. But now, so it looks like the rain has stopped, and you see the track is slowly starting to dry a bit.
Yeah, it does look like the rain has stopped a bit, as you just mentioned, but I don't think it's going to get dry enough for the track has. It might just do it the last two laps, but I don't know if it's going to be worth taking the pit stop in the last couple of laps or not.
Well, that's yet to be seen. So these guys, all up there, which actually depends on the, like someone mentioned earlier, if the tires can hold up. But these intermediates rather heavy on duty, but we're on board now with the Haas of UK, of UltimateE. UltimateE at the moment, who's in the slipstream of Piyush Gandhi, down in turn for the last of the lane breakers. It's going to be Piyush Gandhi, not UltimateE this time out. But Piyush Gandhi now is going to help off UltimateE. He's doing a great job defending UltimateE. UltimateE might be quicker than Haas and Mahaveer, but now they're on board with him again now. Less than a second ahead of him is KDB. in 8th place. So KDB looks like he's made up a little, it looks like he's made up a bunch of places as well now. Because he's now ahead of Mahaveer, so I'm not going to have to fact check because we missed a little bit of that action. But Vix then, but Vignesh then in the ass again. Looks like he's made up a huge number of places. The whichever opportunistic Vignesh, who will start all the way almost down in the back now in 9th place. The safety car has helped to bump these guys out. A couple of these guys have made bits up, but that's truly interesting to see KDB, the pace he could have had, because he's not 1.5 seconds clear of Mahaveer. He has made a good stop and he's running up there in 7th place.
Yeah, he's made the most of the restart over there, and he's made it up in P7. Mahaveer Raghunathan also using the safety car restart onto everything that they can. But right now, looking at the tires that the drivers are on, we can see that a couple of drivers like Amith and the Iceman who did get on the previous lap are already on the dry set of tires. So that early or not, we should be getting to know a bit into this race. But looking at the interval, Iceman and Amith using to defend the bird a bit, yeah, there's still quite a bit in the race. The question is, have they pitted too early for this track right now?
I wonder, because there are huge gains to be made if they do come early, but he's got now 5 seconds behind. Looks like he's close to get a couple of tenths every single lap. He is close to get a couple of tenths every single corner at the moment on those softs, but he's got the Iceman as well on the softs behind him. They look like they're quite comfortable around there. They're starting to get into the rhythm of the softs because there's hardly any spray now coming off his tires. The track looks pretty dry at the moment, and this could just be a little bit of a master stroke by 16, 17, 18, Amith, the Iceman, and Ashwin down there, who are now all now on the softs at the moment. But Iceman and Amith Kuti, these guys are throwing absolute dice in here, but you can see it's still rather slippery coming out of that first corner. They're not even getting no traction down there as well, but it all now depends if the top guys fit, because if they can't, then they're only about 15 seconds from the leader at the moment with 3 laps to go. That's rather hard to do now, so.
Yeah, definitely, and as you mentioned, them going through the turn 1 and 2, it's so slippery, they're falling back down to 6.5 seconds to the car in front. So it's definitely too early for the dry tires, and the guys on the intermediate are at a clear advantage at this point of time.
Absolutely, because with 2 laps now remaining, TANISH Agarwal comfortably 3.6 seconds, brilliantly done after he got that tremendous start off the line when Amith Kuti bogged down. He's controlled this race ever since then, even though a safety car was thrown in, let them off that line spectacularly well. And it's controlled this race from lap number 1. Rajdeep Paul, supreme showing by him, coming up from the back of the grid, almost coming up in the middle of the back now in the 2nd place, with Yashish Manohar now in 3rd place. Great showing by him. Piyush Gandhi, his teammate in McLaren as well. These two getting a little feisty on a couple of laps ago. So 7 laps because Piyush Gandhi now 1.7 seconds behind Yashish Manohar with KDB. So Ulkash then in the Haas in 5th place. KDB in 6th place. Big Manjo Daniel in 7th place. With Mahaveer Raghunathan on his tail with 2 seconds behind him in 8th place. Vignesh then in 9th place with Harshit Reddy in 10th place. Mayank then in 11th place. Parikshit in 12th place. adheetparashar in 13th place. The Thunderbird Juneja in 14th place. Amith Kuti again, that strategy definitely not going to pay off for him this time out. He's going to finish probably down in 17th place. Now 7 seconds, 1.5 seconds a lap. He's losing to the guys in the intermediate, so way too early for the softs, and on point by Sohail when he called it and said these guys are way too early on their softs, and it's showing now because he's lost 7 seconds to the guys ahead of him. With Iceman then in 16th place, and the Red Devil down in 17th place with Ashwin and both the racing points of Nandan and Ashwin again not finishing in 19th and 20th place. So 3 cars still not finishing, 17 cars on track. We're 2 laps away from the penalty. We're on the penultimate lap now, 1 lap away from the supreme Saturday evening that we've had. Exciting racing. There's a track drying, alternate strategies. We've seen it all come into play, but unfortunately not working on that alternate strategy on the soft. Way too early. But like we were just saying that he's gained back now 3 tenths on he's gained back 3 tenths on Bridge Juneja up ahead of him in Ferrari. So I wonder if now the track is getting to that point, Sohail, where there's just enough for the soft tires to shine.
Yeah, I was monitoring the gap mainly between Amith Kuti, that was the passing of the soft runners at this point in time, and The last runner on the intermediate, that's the Thunderbird, but the gap was coming down quite quickly. But I think Amith and Iceman both on the stop tires had to fight a bit, and that was put them backwards even more. So if they want the stop tires to work, they will, even though they are in different teams, they will have to work a bit together to help each other out and to move forward, otherwise they're going to be stuck there.
Absolutely, and we're on board now with big man Joe Daniel now. Trying to hustle his way up to the 6th place, where they're trying to steal that away from Utkarsh and Haas. Looks like he's looking a little racy down here. And I think once he gets past the Parabolica and towards the very arcade there at the Polio, he's going to try to make that move in his slipstream. His brakes going mighty red. They must go down 1,000 degrees as they brake hard into the Parabolica. And you can see he's got such a great drive. Now coming out of that slipstream, now coming out of Parabolica, down the slipstream, in slipstream, now move down the inside. He's going to get past the by the time he gets through. His gear has been activated, DRS has been active, so he has had the option of DRS, but Utkarsh then supremely well defended driving, but he's got him now on the inside line as they go through. As they come through Cover Grande. I wonder now if Daniel has enough more in his tires left to take it to keep Utkarsh behind him, but he's not got ahead of him for 6th place. It's great to see Daniel with that superb effort to bring him up in the 6th place again. Now 12 laps on the intermediate tires. No one has put it on the intermediates. The top 10 have still not put in. They've done 12 laps on the intermediate. As we're on the last lap now, on board with Tanish Agarwal, as he's going to come down for the last time through the Astani chicane, as we're going to go ahead as he heads towards the Parabolica. He has the elevation of Mr. Crossing crowd. A supreme drive where he took advantage of Amith Kutty's bog start, and you can see it now through the Parabolica. Here he goes, completely coasting, 5 seconds now ahead of Rajdeep Paul. In a class of his own today, even though he didn't qualify well. But there we go, Tanish Agarwal, a winner of a race number 1 today. Absolutely brilliant, leading from lap number 1 all the way down to lap number 13. Well driven, controlled the space superbly well. Rajdeep Paul then finishing in 2nd place. Great showing by him. Piyush Gandhi making the most of that in the last lap. It looks like because he's now made up a bunch of seconds, because now is where the penalties come into play, and you'll see a bunch of orders change. With Tanish Agarwal, Rajdeep Paul 2nd place, Piyush Gandhi there in 3rd place, gaining 5 places. Rather that's quick, starting down in 8th place as well. KDB, another super weekend for him, up in the 4th place as well. Just off the podium. I wonder if he could have done another podium debut with the big boys here, but we know he's got a lot left in him. I'm really excited to see a lot more from him as time rolls on. But there we go, Tanish Agarwal there, the race winner. Amith Kutty unfortunately on the ultimate strategy, finishing down in 15th place. It just does not get any better. It just does not get any better than this. The driver of the day is Parikshit in the Red Bull. Supremely driven, well-controlled race. And here we go, Tanish Agarwal now takes the podium for his maiden win in this UltimateE Back to the Stars in association with Red Bull. Association with Red Bull, hashtag gives you wings. He celebrates that victory, he tastes the champagne and celebrate tonight, because tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, at the same time at 9 p.m, we go racing in Sochi for the finale of UltimateE's Battle of the Stars on the PC F1 2020. Another exciting track, another power circuit, so I can't wait for this tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been a really fun race to watch with these challenging conditions as well. But towards the end of the lap, on lap number 13, the last lap, Iceman was blisteringly quick. He set the fastest lap with the 127.8, which is over 2 seconds quicker than the race leader's fastest lap. So this shows how much more time he's gained, and he did finish P13 at the end of it. So he did get a little bit of it back, but not as much as he's expected to. But all in all, just a really good race to watch, and we're hoping for something similar tomorrow. And yeah, we shall see you tomorrow.
Absolutely, because with dry conditions in the works of tomorrow, hopefully we get a lot more racing and we get a lot more wheel-to-wheel action. But today has been ever present, and thank you for joining us, because we've enjoyed taking you through these 13 laps. So myself, Anjan Ashraf, and Soul Shah, the entire UltimateE team, and Red Bull, hashtag gives you wings. Thank you for joining us, and good night.